Hello, hope you guys are all having a good Friday. Just wanted to jump on here real quick and talk about um, being a buyer in today's market, in this hot real estate market, where we see high prices, multiple offers, cash offers. How, as a buyer, can you put yourself in a position to win? And so, the first thing as a buyer, you need to have everything set up. So if you're financing, then you need to have a lender set up, be pre-approved, have a letter that we can submit with our offer, showing that I can get this loan. If you're a cash buyer, then we need to have proof of funds, a letter from a bank or a bank statement just showing that you have these funds available. Now, we have everything and we're ready to go. Oh, and the other thing we might want to think about is we don't want to have any contingencies. So if you're trying to sell a home before you buy another home, or while you're trying to buy another home, it's going to make it a little harder in this market. So there are some things you can do. We can talk about that later. But so now we're ready to go. We found a house we like. It's a nice house, and we think there's probably going to be multiple offers. What do we need to do in order to make our offer win? And so we need to think about it from the seller's perspective. What needs to be in our offer that the seller likes? So in Texas here, we have what's called an option period. And during that option period, it is a period of time where you can have an inspection done, do your due diligence, and at any time in that option period, the buyer can back out and only lose a small amount of money that they put down for that option period, rather than losing all their earnest money. So there's option periods for sellers. To make that more attractive to a seller, we want shorter option periods or no option period at all. Or an option period with a larger chunk of money, saying, if we do back out, you'll get this much money. Now, as a buyer, you got to be prepared for this sort of thing. Like, am I willing as a buyer to waive my option period? And if I find something wrong with the house, now my earnest money is on the line, or I have to, be prepared to fix it. So those are things that you have to think about as a buyer. Now, okay, we got the option period out of the way. We structured a nice option period that's attractive. The next thing we need to think about is if we are financing, now we're up against an appraisal. And in today's market, we're seeing prices that are not always what the appraised value is going to be. So if a buyer is willing to buy that house and they're a cash buyer, then we don't have to worry about an appraisal. But if we are doing financing, now we need to think about this appraisal. Now, one way to make this more attractive to a seller is to do an appraisal waiver, or a partial waiver, which really says if the house doesn't appraise for the purchase price, that I will bring the difference. I will pay the difference in cash. So that's an option if you have the cash. And we have structured deals that way, and it works. It works in this market. So those are two things, your option period, your appraisal, quick closing. If you're working with a lender that can get you like through underwriting, pre-underwritten. I have a lender that can do this. You go through pre-underwriting, and now you're ready to close in a matter of a couple of weeks. They can do a closing if you've already went through that underwriting process with the lender. So just some things to think about if you're a buyer in this market. You need to be working with a realtor that thinks outside the box and that can get creative and that knows what's going on in the market. So I hope this helps, and if you have any other questions, let me know. Todd Kinsey with eXp Realty. Have a great Friday.